Can the Cleveland Browns compete with the Cincinnati Bengals for the division? I think that there are a lot of questions here to be had, Tommy. Now, first off, obviously they acquired Deshaun Watson. The first question that needs to be answered, will he be able to play this season? Will he face
No idea.
That's up in the air right now. Nobody really knows. And they're signing quarterbacks left and right now, too. Even though they still have Baker Mayfield currently, as of the time of recording this, on roster, on contract. Now, I think another interesting thing here, you have a strong run game, as we all know, with both Kareem Hunt and also with Nick Chubb. And the hope is that you can keep those guys healthy. But let's talk about the offensive line. No J.C. Treader. He's no longer there anymore. You had to release Austin Hooper as well at the tight end position. And you have David Njoku, who obviously received the franchise tag there. But at wide receiver, okay, you have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's an athletic freak. I know you loved him out of Michigan as well when he was there. You lost a lot of other guys, though. Rashard Higgins, you lost OBJ. You know, obviously he released him last season. He was able to sign with the Rams and go win a Super Bowl. And then you cut in this offseason, you cut away Jarvis Landry. Like, there's some question marks here as to, like, what are they going to do? You do have Amari Cooper, who you traded for with the Dallas Cowboys, however, but is that enough right here? And also there's another question. Like, I feel like we could go everywhere with this.
Yeah.
What is Deshaun Watson going to look like after not playing football for an entire season? What might that be? Learning a new scheme here, the Kevin Stefanski offense. As we talked about in 2020, Baker Mayfield, he struggled at first, the beginning part of the season, in learning Stefanski's offense. It was a little bit of a slow progression. And then at the season, he lit it up. Can Deshaun Watson be on that same trajectory maybe that Baker was, if he can play? If not, hey, the Browns right here are a huge question mark inside the AFC North.
It's kind of like the Steelers, where I feel way better about the defense side of the ball than I do the offense side, even though they got the biggest upgrade in Deshaun Watson. But defensively, you've got Myles Garrett. You have Chase Winovich, who was pretty relentless in his style of play with New England. You've got other guys on this team, too. You've got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, one of the best draft values of his day during the draft. You've got Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward on this team, Greedy Williams, Troy Hill. Look back towards safety. You've got Ronnie Williams, John Johnson. You got Grant Delpit on this team. So, like, defensively, they're still loaded. Still loaded on the defensive side of the ball. Like that, I feel really confident about how they can match up with these other guys. Then it's like the question to me, it all centers around Deshaun Watson. If he's out there for week 1, you get him for all 17 games. Cleveland Browns, you're in good shape. You are good to go. Assuming we get faux suspension Deshaun Watson, because he didn't really get to do anything last year, wasn't even practicing. But I think if he was certainly getting his work in away from the field. Like I am positive about that. You're right. I think he'll be fine if he does get back out there. It might take a little bit of time to get the ring rust knocked off of him, you know what I mean? Because that is absolutely going to be a thing. But he'll be okay. It's a long season. If you struggle in the first couple games, you've got time to pick it up. But you can't wait too long in the AFC. Those games, every single game, whether it's in division or out of division, they're going to be crucial, because the AFC West, and you'll talk about the rest of the AFC North, it is not something you want to fall behind on quickly and then need a mid to late season push trying to make something happen. I think Amari Cooper can work out fine, but he's also a guy who worked very well in structure, where Deshaun Watson is a quarterback who worked really well out of structure. So I'm curious how that mesh up is going to work. I think it'll be okay, but Amari Cooper is going to see like 30 to 35% of the targets right now. There's not really anyone else that's going to compete against him. You did bring in Jakeem Grant on a 3-year, $10 million deal, but he was more of a gadget style player. He's not really like a true number 2 you want to target that often. He can work maybe as a number 3, but honestly, David Njoku is going to work just as well as that big slot kind of moved out. Like, he could be the breakout guy on this roster, because you lose Austin Hooper. You also, at this point, you only have like Harrison Bryant behind him, kind of play him more in line. Move Njoku out. This could be the massive year Njoku was always wanted, and it's a perfect time. You're doing it on the franchise tag, which is kind of a make it or break it kind of time for a player. And Njoku has all the chance right now to kind of like really flourish with Deshaun Watson this year, and actually, given the lack of other pass catchers here, I think there's a bunch of questions. Running big game, I feel okay about. Defensive, I feel okay about. It all just comes down to the quarterback and the wide receivers.
We'll see how things play out here for the Cleveland Browns in the 2022 NFL season inside the AFC North Division.